Alright, what's up, guys? It's Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection live right here on the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans. Um, I'm just checking if you could hear everything right now, so bear with me for a moment. Let me see. Let me see. Alright, what's up? Alright, everything seems to be good. So, yeah. Alright, we're here today. Quickly, a little pre show before Ring of Honor Final Battle. This is the third Tony Khan era Ring of Honor show, right behind Death Before Dishonor and Supercard of Honor. But this is the probably the last Ring of Honor show, Ring of pay per view show that is, before they have a weekly television show. Um, since I mean, Tony Khan kind of hinted at that in his media call this week, that there would be something announced for the Ring of Honor weekly television show happening. So we'll see what happens after the show, because that's probably what's going to get announced. And he also hinted at some other stuff like Ring of Honor and AEW having more of a relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. There is New Japan talent on this show, so that's something to look out for. And there's definitely going to be a media scrum where Tony's going to be answering these questions after the show. But let's just get right into it here today. Ring of Honor Final Battle. And let's start with the 0 hour matches. There are 4 0 hour matches this show. All of them look pretty good, so let's get right into them. We're not going to be doing as heavy predictions as we do on the AEW streams, but we're just going to be doing them for fun this time around, so might as well. So here we go. First off, we have Willow Nightingale versus Trish Adora for the first match here. And this is basically just a showcase match for Willow. I mean, Trish Adora is a Ring of Honor, as a woman who did make a name for herself in Ring of Honor. She's been on Elevation and AEW Dark, just doing enhancement matches. But she has been around the indie. She is very good. So it's cool to see her in the spot with Willow Nightingale. But this is absolutely a Willow Nightingale victory. It's just a showcase match, right? There's nothing really to say. There's not really any story in this match, but just something to get Willow on the card, since she's basically been on all the Ring of Honor pay-per-views over the last year. So, and Willow's great. I really like it. I really enjoy Willow. So, this is no problem for me. So I'm just gonna go Willow here. But that's really all. That's really all there is to it for this one. So let's get into the next match. Next up, we have the JAS's Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool Hand Angelo Parker versus the Shinobi Shadow Squad in Cheeseburger and Eli Isom. So obviously this is probably going to be another one like the last match we just talked about, but Willow and Trish Adora, so that would be basically a Willow free victory, and this will be the same thing with the JAS here with Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange. But it's cool to see Cheeseburger on the show. Cheeseburger, every time he's on Dark, is very over. I mean, Cheeseburger is very entertaining. Also with Eli Isom, he jobbed to Ricky Starks once. I believe he jobbed to Ricky once on Dynamite a couple weeks ago. After I think it was after Arthur Ashe. But yeah, so this should just be a free victory for Daddy Magic and Cool Hand. So there's not really much to say about this. We are coming to the end of the JAS Blackpool Combat Club saga, so this really hasn't have anything to do with it, and we'll get more into that storyline when we get into the rest of the matches here on the main card. But it's cool to see Eli Isom and Cheeseburger continue being used on these Ring of Honor shows, because both of them are very good. But this is a Daddy Magic Cool Hand victory, just a showcase match for them, and that's really all there is to it for this one. So let's move on to the third match on the 0 hour. We have The Kingdom versus Top Flight. This one's not so much of an enhancement match, but we have The Kingdom, Mike Bennett, Maria Canales, and Matt Taven, who are signed to deals with AEW slash Ring of Honor, but mostly Ring of Honor, and versus Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. Dante actually had like a scare, like an injury scare in the match that they had with FTR, but I think he just got his bell rung and he was able to be okay after that. So I'm glad nothing's wrong with Dante and everything. He's all healthy. And Darius just returned like a month ago. They're still getting their Top Flight still getting matched, like just trying to like get some more matches. But I'm happy to see them on the card here. I mean, they're quintessential. Um, I mean, if these guys were about 15 years younger, they would have been mainstays in Ring of Honor. So this is cool to see them on the card against the Kingdom here. But this one's kind of harder to predict because it's Top Flight. I mean, they don't really have a consistent like win loss. Like they'll win some, they'll lose some. But the Kingdom, they're newish. They just got signed. They've been winning. But with here, I think I'm gonna go with Top Flight just because I think they have more going for them, and I think the Kingdom is probably gonna be on hold until the Ring of Honor gets their television deal, and that's really all there is to this one too. So, I think we see a Top Flight victory here, and just a fun tag team match because all four guys here are very very good. So, here we go, and the last match for the 0 hour is one that I'm actually very, very interested in. And that is Mascara Dorada versus Jeff Cobb of the United Empire, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as I said earlier, there is going to be New Japan talent on this show. Juice Robinson is kind of not New Japan talent anymore, even though because he just recently signed to AEW. However, he's still in the Bullet Club. He still does Ring of Honor. He still does New Japan stuff. So, it's kind of the same, but Jeff Cobb is a signed New Japan name. He was actually supposed to be in World Tag League, but he got hurt and he couldn't do World Tag League, so Aaron Henare subbed in for him to tag with Great-O-Khan. So I guess Cobb got a little break, came back to the States, and he's going to do this show against Mascara Dorada. So this is actually a very cool match, and it's kind of funny because Bryan Danielson, he always said one of his dream matches was against Mascara Dorada. If you're not familiar with Mascara Dorada, just by the visual here, he was Grand Metalik in the WWE. He was in the faction, the stable, the Lucha House Party with Kalisto, now Samurai Del Sol, and Lince Dorado. So that's the main known reason that he has. But yeah, so Mascara Dorada, I would love to see him and Bryan Danielson one day since Bryan wants it so bad. But this is a very cool and interesting matchup. You got a big powerhouse in Jeff Cobb, very mobile big man, and you got a high flying luchador. Obviously, his nickname is the King of the Ropes, so it's gonna be a fun one here. I think this is, I mean, this could steal the show like a lot of these AEW, Ring of Honor pre-show matches often do. Like I remember the House of Black versus Eric Redbeard and Pac and Phoenix, or actually no, it was Pac and Penta, I believe so, or it was just the Lucha Bros and Eric Redbeard. I forgot which one, but that match was excellent. But we're gonna see here these two, and this is Mascara Dorada has done shots on Elevation and Dark, so this isn't his like first time under like a Tony Khan AEW Ring of Honor banner. So and same thing with Jeff Cobb. Obviously, he performed in before the pandemic for the Inner Circle and AEW, and then he also did the stuff for Forbidden Door where him and Great-O-Khan lost the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against FTR. And he also had that match with Cash Wheeler on Rampage. But here, I think we see a Jeff Cobb victory. I mean, Jeff Cobb is just too dominant in New Japan. He's not going to lose to Mascara Dorada. Jeff Cobb is fantastic. I think he should be. I think we should see him a lot more if there is a stronger connection and stronger relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think Cobb's one of the best guys you could have lead the way in that. But I'm just gonna go with Jeff Cobb here. I'm very excited for this match, and yeah, it's just I just hope to see more New Japan talent and mixing it up with AEW guys, and same with Mexican talent like Mascara Dorada here. So that is all the matches for the 0 hour. but now we are going to get into the main card. I divided it up by non-title to title matches here. So we're going to start off with the non-title matches, and that first one being Blake Christian and AR Fox versus Dralistico and Roosh. So this is actually a very, very exciting match. I mean, all guys here are excellent workers. Let's start off with Blake Christian. Blake Christian is signed to a deal like with Ring of Honor AEW. He was because he's on Dark a lot when they were in the Universal. Orlando Universal taping, so he would appear a lot. I remember he had a great match with Jay Lethal on there, and the guy is all over the place on the indies. He's been on New Japan Strong. He's a mainstay in GCW, Warrior Wrestling. The guy is just fantastic. He was on Impact every now and then. He was in like NXT for a cup of coffee, but the guy has had an amazing year. I remember watching in the summer his New Japan matches. He had a triple threat with Hiromu Takahashi and El Desperado. He also had a singles match with Hiromu Takahashi, and after the match, Hiromu Takahashi personally invited him to be a part of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament next year, which I was shocked that he wasn't in this year. So it looks like he's definitely going to be in it next year, which I'm very, very excited about. But it's very cool to see Blake Christian on this card on the main show because the guy is legitimately fantastic. So let's get to AR Fox now. AR Fox obviously just signed to AEW about 2 weeks ago. Well, actually, no, a week ago, where he lost to Samoa Joe in the TNT Title Open Challenge. But AR Fox and Blake Christian, this is a great team here. These are two high-flying guys, two guys who can work, and they're going to be in the ring with two of the best Mexican talent you can find in Dralistico and Roosh. Obviously, Roosh is signed to AEW. Roosh has been on these Ring of Honor pay-per-views before. Roosh is a former Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's been in a constant storyline with the Dark Order on AEW television. Him and Preston Vance. Preston Vance just joined La Faction Ingobernable. So, Roosh, he's been all over the place on TV, so I'm very excited to see him again too because I'm a big fan of Roosh. Guy's stiff, guy is a hard hitter, guy's a shooter, not a shooter, but like he's very stiff in the ring, and he just brings a hard hitting style. It's more believable in his matches. But for the first time ever, we have Dralistico, who this is his first time on a Ring of Honor AEW card or a show that is, but Dralistico. There was a little promo package, a little Twitter video put up by Jose and Roosh, them calling Dralistico to get ready for this matchup. So Dralistico, if you don't know, Dralistico is the brother of Dragon Lee, who Andrade and Roosh tagged with during the Elite in the first round of the AEW Trios Tag Tournament, where Andrade turned out he turned out he tore his pec in that match. But they also, Roosh and Andrade beat down Dragon Lee after that match, since he took the losing fall. But I guess Dralistico just don't care. So I'm very excited to see Dralistico. I believe I've seen Dralistico once on a AAA show. But this is gonna be my first time like really seeing him, because I think there was a lot of people in that match. But I'm very excited for this match. I think this could be a show stealer. I think this would be a hot opener if they choose to open with it, and just very excited for this matchup. I'm gonna go with Roosh and Dralistico for this one. I think Roosh has too much momentum. I think he has the most going on than anybody in AEW Ring of Honor, so I'm gonna go with Roosh and Dralistico for this. And I also think there would probably be some interference from Preston Vance and Jose. Next up, we have a very, very interesting matchup with Swerve in Our Glory versus Shane Taylor Promotions. So let's start with Swerve in Our Glory here. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, obviously, they lost their third match in the series to the Acclaimed at Full Gear. And basically in that match, Swerve slapped Keith Lee. Because Keith Lee is a babyface and Swerve has basically been acting like a heel and has basically been full heel for months. So Swerve slapped him. Keith Lee walked off, and that's what ended up losing them the title. Well, not losing them the titles, but losing them their title match. But This has been ongoing storyline with these two. They're at odds with each other. And it all came to a head where they had a talk. Keith Lee obviously was pissed off, still mad at Swerve, but Keith Lee was being interviewed by Renee Young about at last week on Rampage, and who shows up but Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor, if you don't know, he is a former Ring of Honor Trios champion. He was a Ring of Honor mainstay for a while. He was also the former tag team partner of Keith Lee back when Keith Lee was, before he was even in WWE, before he was in Evolve. So very early on into Keith Lee's career, he was in a tag team with Shane Taylor, and so there is history to this match. So Shane Taylor basically told him, "Why do you always turn your back on family?" And basically, Shane Taylor challenged him to a match at Final Battle, and basically find a partner. And Keith Lee's like, I don't, he didn't know who to pick. And then Swerve walks up smiling like a Cheshire cat. This guy is like, and then Keith Lee reluctantly agrees. So Keith Lee and Swerve are going to be the reluctant tag partners here, and against Shane Taylor Promotions. Now let's get the Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor, obviously, who I just talked about. I'm actually very surprised in because he had a couple choice words when Ring of Honor was purchased by Tony Khan, and he wasn't on the first card, and I just thought he blackballed himself from Ring of Honor after that. But I guess fences have been mended or everything is okay. But yeah, so Shane Taylor is going to be. This is his first time on AEW Ring of Honor anything. The last thing he did in Ring of Honor, he had a no DQ match with Kenny King at last year's Final Battle, which was actually a pretty good match. But he did have a promotion called Shane Taylor Promotions. I can't tell you who everybody was in that faction, but the ones I do know is obviously Shane Taylor and Bishop Khan, who we'll see later in the trios title match. But he is going to be teaming with JD Griffey in this match. JD Griffey has been on Dark and Dark Elevation. Every now and then, I don't know much about him. I've seen his matches on Dark, and I really haven't seen much any more of that. I know he's like an MMA style wrestler. So I'm very excited to see what he can do. I've never seen him before, so besides those quick job matches on Elevation, so I'm very excited to see JD Griffey in a big deal match for the first time. So I love being exposed to new talent. I love finding out about new talent. So I'm glad I'm finally going to get to do some more learning about JD Griffey here tonight. But anyway, I think this match, I think Swerve and No Glory wins. I think it's their bounce back from their loss to the Acclaimed. Plus, Shane Taylor and JD Griffey aren't even signed to AEW or Ring of Honor deals. So I think Swerve and No Glory is going to win here, but I think some stuff's going to go down where it's going to boil up the feud with Swerve and Keith Lee, where it's going to eventually take us to our Swerve versus Keith Lee match, whether that be at New Year's Smash, whether that be at Revolution. We'll see, but I'm going to go with Swerve and No Glory here, and let's get on to the next match. Next up, we have the Trios title match with Dalton Castle and the Boys versus Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, representing the Embassy. So here we have the Dalton Castle and the Boys, who won the Trios tag titles at the last pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, from the Righteous. Tyler Bateman, Vincent, and Dutch. Vincent and Dutch we talked about last week. Not last week, on Wednesday on the regular injection, because they're most likely headed to, well, not most likely, they're definitely headed to WWE. Tyler Bateman, he's been a mainstay on New Japan Strong, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him in New Japan proper. But they won it. Dalton Castle and the Boys there, they've been very, very over and entertaining on AEW television. Every time they've been on it, they've been on Dark, they've been on Dark Elevation, they've been on regular Dynamite and Rampage. I mean, Dalton wrestled Jericho in a great match. I mean, he was just him. Dalton was just in the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, where he had a great spot where the Boys were kept saving him from elimination, and actually built up this match because Brian Cage was the one eliminating him. But Then we have the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage representing the Embassy. I think this is a great faction. I just think they just need a little bit more to do because Ring of Honor hasn't started yet, and uh, I don't think there's any room for them on AEW television. That's why Ring of Honor's TV deal is desperately needed. But I'm very excited to see them. To see this match. I feel like this is going to be a great match. But I do like the makeup of the Embassy here. I like Brian Cage. I like Toa Leona because I remember the first time I saw Toa Leona on Dark Elevation and Dark Heat. I think he was wrestling QT Marshall, and I'm like, this guy's got something. They should take a look at this guy, and they ended up doing that. Same thing with Khan when he wrestled Adam Cole on Dark in the Orlando Universal tapings, and I was very impressed. And I'm glad those guys finally they both are under contract. So I'm very excited to see what they could do against Dalton and the boys here. Bishop Khan, Toliana, Brian Cage, managed by Prince Nana. Prince Nana is a great manager. He's been nothing but entertaining in his promo segments and outside the ring as of late. So I'm very excited for this. But my prediction here is I'm gonna go with the Embassy, the Gates of Agony, and Brian Cage. I think they're gonna defeat Dalton Castle and the boys. I think they're just gonna be dominant trios champions heading into the Ring of Honor TV deal. I think guys like this can't really afford a loss to Dalton and the boys unless there's some sort of shenanigans, but I don't think there will be any. Um, so I'm gonna go with the Embassy here, and I think they're gonna be the new trios tag team champions within Ring of Honor. So that's my prediction here. And next up, we have the women's world championship, the Ring of Honor women's world championship match between Mercedes Martinez and Athena. And this one I'm actually very, very interested in due to the reason of Athena's new attitude and her basically her drastic heel turn that she's had in the past few months. Um, Athena has been. It's all started in Toronto. I mean, if you watch the Road to show for this show, she basically maps out the entire situation. But Athena, she she has been more aggressive. She has been more stiff. She has been um, more more fierce in her matches. I mean, if you watch the match with in Toronto with her and Jody Threat, people, it was a big controversy because people thought she was actually going into business for herself, and hurting this woman, which obviously wasn't the case, and the match was completely by design. But Athena here, I think her new attitude serves her well. I got her this match with Mercedes Martinez. This is Mercedes Martinez's first match in like 3 months because she's back from injury. Well, first big match. I think she had a couple matches on Dark, but Mercedes and Athena here. I'm very. I think this is another possibility of a steal the show type great match, but I think we're going to see a new champion here. I think Athena is going to defeat Mercedes Martinez. I think she should. I think Athena has been one of the best women on AEW Ring of Honor for the last couple months now. Just with Athena's heel turn, I think it was very warranted. It was needed. I loved when she attacked Aubrey Edwards because that's something you saw no one doing ever. So I'm gonna go with Athena here. I hope she wins because I really like this new attitude that she has, and I really just hope to see Athena more because we get to see her enough as we should. And I really do want to see her in more matches. Like I really hope like one of my big, not dream matches, but one of the matches I really want and I anticipate the most within AEW and Ring of Honor is Jamie Hayter versus Athena because these are two women who are hard hitting, who are quick, who can work well with each other, who are both incredible workers, two of the best women's workers they got, and I think that could be a great match, and I think a champion versus champion match could be really cool as well. So I'm gonna go with Athena here. I could very well see Mercedes retaining, and they prolong this, but I do think it's time for Athena. I think you can strike while the iron's hot, and hey, I'm just a big fan of Athena. Always have been since NXT, and I just hope she wins the title tonight. So let's get on to our next match here. We have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship match between Samoa Joe and Rock Hard Juice Robinson. This is going to be Juice Robinson's, I believe, his first. If I'm correct, I think it is his first match under the Ring of Honor AEW banner, just being a side talent. I mean, he obviously had the match with Mox, but he wasn't signed yet. But Juice here, obviously still a member of the Bullet Club in New Japan. So there's that tie with New Japan again. I don't know if there's going to be any New Japan shenanigans here. I know Jay White is not in Japan right now, so I could see a Jay White interference here maybe. But Samoa Joe is hot off the heels of um, his great match with Darby Allin at Dynamite this week, where he basically just murdered Darby Allin for like 15 minutes and threw him around like he was a rag doll. But this is actually one of the harder matches to call, and you kind of think, well, why is that when you see a Samoa Joe match on here? But um, Samoa Joe is the TNT champion. He's the television champion. He's the king of TV, as they say. But I think Juice has a reasonable shot here, and that all is because of the Wardlow aspect. I think Wardlow could very well interfere within this match and cost Joe the television title. Um, Wardlow choked out Powerhouse Hobbs to win the TNT title, so it's kind of screwed over Wardlow, and I could see Wardlow interfering and screwing him over for the television title against Juice. So that's why I'm kind of going back and forth on this match. But Joe's dominant victory over Darby last night, it's like, do you really want to beat him after that? Where do you want Joe? Is Joe going to be a part of Ring of Honor once the TV deal comes? Is he just going to be on AEW? It's just a lot of uncertainty going into this match. And with Juice being a new signee to AEW, I could see him winning now. It's just very hard because if Wardlow doesn't get involved, I mean, obviously Joe's gonna win. But if Wardlow does get involved, I think Juice has a reasonable shot. So I'm kind of very, just kind of like back and forth on this match. But I think the storyline with Wardlow, they want to progress, and with Juice being, they want to establish Juice as just a new guy coming in. I'm not confident in this prediction, but I am going to go with Juice Robinson here. I think Juice is going to win via Wardlow screwing Joe over. They could be a ref bump, they could be anything, but I think Juice is going to win here and become the new Ring of Honor television champion. So, very hard. It's literally 50-50 for me. I could see this going the absolute other way with Joe winning just decisively. So, we'll see what happens here, because I don't know if Joe's just gonna have a lengthy TNT title reign, but I'm just not sure. So I'm just gonna go with Juice here because of the Wardlow aspect. But obviously Joe, it's Samoa Joe, he could win at any time. So we'll see. So let's get on to this next match here, and it is for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, and this contest sees Daniel Garcia put his title on the line against Wheeler Yuta for the third time. So their first match was at Death Before, well, not their first match together. They've had matches on the Indies up and down, but their first match in Ring of Honor AEW, being on Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, where Wheeler Yuta ended up defeating Daniel Garcia. Then they had the match in Buffalo in Daniel Garcia's hometown, where Daniel Garcia ended up defeating Wheeler Yuta and becoming the new Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Now, Garcia hasn't been on to AEW as much as he has been, besides like Dark and Dark Elevation when he was doing the stuff with Jericho and Danielson. And is he going to join the Blackpool Combat Club? Is he going to turn on Jericho, turn on the JAS? But obviously, since that has kind of been on the back burner, he's been kind of doing off to the side. But this is also another one that is very hard to call. I mean, Wheeler Yuta, Regal's exit of the Blackpool Combat Club, Regal's whole thing was he wanted to teach young Wheeler how to become the best pro wrestler he could be. And I think Claudio, Danielson, and Mox are now going to take the reins and try to do that for Yuta. And I just think this is a very hard one to call, because the Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society feud will be coming to an end tonight. It has been it's Tony said it, Mox has said it, Yuta said it, Claudio said it, Jericho said it. Everyone said it. Garcia said it. It's been going on for 7 months now. It's got to end. This war has to end. Mike in the chat, I see you. FTR Briscoes 3, can't wait. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that real soon. I got a lot to say about that. I can't wait. Um, yeah. So back to Yuta and Garcia. This is just a very very hard one to call since I think since I think the Jericho Appreciation Society and Blackpool Combat Club stuff is over tonight. I think that the baby faces are unanimously probably going to go over, which would mean that Yuta would win the title here. But I'm just not so sure because Daniel Garcia, um, he's had a lot of title defenses for the pure title. I don't know if they want to take it off him this early. I don't know if they want to make it like even between um, people, but I think I really do think I'm gonna go with Yuta here for the victory to get his title back, and then they could kickstart the Garcia stuff again. Maybe he goes off on his own, or maybe he just continues to be in the JES. But it just I think, but I also think to myself that if Garcia loses, he would probably need a rematch against Yuta, or maybe he wouldn't, or maybe he'll go for something else. It's just very, it's just a wait and see. It's got to be. It's really a wait and see. I'm not confident in my prediction about Yuta. Um, I'm trying to just think of outcomes, but because I really do think it probably is a little bit too early to take it off Garcia. And I think probably in the long run, Garcia should win since Yuta already had a title reign. But I think Yuta is probably going to win here due to the baby faces winning out for the Blackpool Combat Club in the end of the storyline. So I'm going to go with Yuta here to retain his pure title. And we'll see. Next up, just what Mike was talking about in the chat, a match I'm probably the most excited for on this show. I am hyped for this match. I am so, so, so excited. Um, we have FTR versus the Briscoes 3 for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. I'm so excited. The story of this year has been how unbelievably FTR has been performing. The career year that Dax Harwood has had singles wise, the career year FTR has had as a team. They've been in America, they've been in Mexico, they've been in Japan, they've been in Europe, they've been in all these different places, Canada as well. They've been in all these different places, all these different countries, defending their AAA titles, their IWGP heavyweight titles, heavyweight tag titles, their Ring of Honor tag titles. I mean, look at the list. I mean, list off the names they've defended against: the Young Bucks, Top Flight, Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, Aussie Open, Roppongi Vice. They just lost to the Acclaimed for the AW tag titles. The Gates of Agony. Trying to think who else. Just the Briscoes. Just so many teams that they've defeated this year and just had great matches with. It's just I've never seen a career year for a team like this since basically the Young Bucks had theirs last year. So it's really cool to get them back to back with both teams. And I always say that people always argue who's better, Sean or Brett. When I am older in 30 years, we're all going to be arguing who is better, the Bucks or FTR. And it's still going on right now. It's already started, so we'll see. But we got FTR versus Briscoes 3 here in a double dog collar match. Which, if you don't think this is gonna be a bloodbath, you're kidding yourself. These guys are gonna be bloody. This shit's gonna be a fucking. The canvas is gonna be red. They're gonna have crimson masks. I just can't wait for this. This is gonna be a complete fucking bloodbath. We don't. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think there's ever been a double dog collar match. I mean, like the logistics, is it going to be like 4 where it's like in a cross? But no, I don't. I just think Jay and Dax will be strapped together. I think Mark and Cash will be strapped together. But I'm just this match just. I mean, Dax has even said it on Twitter, like, put your kids to bed early. So I'm ready. I'm very, very ready for this match. But The outcome of this match is also another hard one to call. If you have FTR going over, then that means FTR would beat the Briscoes all three times in all three of the Ring of Honor pay per view matches. They would have won at Supercard in the first match, which was a contender for match of the year. Uh, a At Death Before Dishonor, they beat the Briscoes again in the 2 out of 3 falls in another match of the year contender, and I think they'll do it again. I think they're gonna have another match of the year contender here, but uh, I'm just not sure about the result. Just due to the Briscoes, I don't think the Briscoes would lose out. But do you want to keep the titles on FTR and Cash and Dax for the future of Ring of Honor? I don't think you do, because I think you want them more in AEW. So with that being said, I am going with the Briscoes to win this match. I think the Briscoes will be your new Ring of Honor Tag Team Tag Team Champions. Because where do you go with them on Ring of Honor TV if FTR retain? What are you going to do with them? You need the Briscoes because they can't be on AEW television. They're banned because of Warner, and it's complete bullshit. But I think that's what you do. I just don't know what you do with the Briscoes if they lose to FTR here again. So I'm just gonna go with the Briscoes here. I think Dax and Cash, their year has cemented, so they don't even need the FTR, the Ring of Honor tag titles. Let me take a drink here. I don't think they even need. I mean, it's cool though. It's a cool visual them walking out with all their titles, but it's not like they need all of them. So I think the Briscoes win here. They're your new tag team champions, and I think they carried it into the Ring of Honor television show, and FTR could just focus on what they got going on in AEW because they do have to defend their IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles at Wrestle Kingdom against whoever wins World Tag League. Um, so there's that, and they also have to defend their AAA tag titles whenever they go back to Mexico. But we'll see here, and I just think this match is going to be carnage and very exciting. So I'm going to go with the Briscoes, and let's get on to the main event. It's time for the main event. And that main event being the Ring of Honor World Championship match between Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has had probably one of my favorite Ring of Honor World title reigns. It's just been a great title reign in general. I got the pleasure of seeing their first match at Arthur Ashe Stadium, where Jericho defeated Claudio for the Ring of Honor World title. The crowd loved it. I was there. It was so shocking and cool to see. But I love his Ring of Honor World title reign, where he's trying to desecrate the good name of Ring of Honor and the legacy of it, and defeating the old champions like Colt Cabana and Bandito and Ishii and Dalton Castle, all these different champions that he's been defeating. It's just been such a cool thing to see his series of Bryan Danielson, the Fatal 4-Way at Full Gear with Claudio, Danielson, and Sammy Guevara. But I think it comes to an end tonight, unfortunately. I do want Claudio to win because I don't want to see Claudio. Because if Claudio loses, he has to join the JAS, and I don't want to see Claudio in the JAS. I think it would be entertaining, but I just don't need it. It's just I don't want the reign to end because I've been enjoying it so much. But it is time to put this BCC Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society feud to rest, and I think the babyface go over huge on the show to end the feud. And I think Claudio is going to usher that in because I think Claudio will get his win back from Arthur Ashe. He has pinned and submitted Jericho in tag team matches. That's a little thing to think of where that's in favor of Jericho, but Jericho winning the first match and with no honor, and Claudio winning the title back to restore honor to Ring of Honor and the Ring of Honor World title. I think that's probably where the story ends. And I just think this is going to be a great match because their first match was great. The stuff they did in the tag matches was great. The stuff in Blood and Guts was great. The Fatal 4-Way, great. So these guys, I mean, it's Claudio and Jericho. I mean, you can't really go wrong with these two guys. And for the world, it's for the World Championship. It's a. I just think Claudio should be your leading man babyface going into the Ring of Honor television show. They could do what they did with Hangman and Jericho back when AEW was getting started at the first All Out, where they wanted they wanted Jericho as the first champion to get eyes on the product, which was extremely smart. But I think since it's like a lesser audience than just regular AEW, I think Claudio should be the one to end the feud and carry that title yet again. But I'm very excited for this. All of Jericho's run as a Ring of Honor World Champion. It's funny because you don't really think that Jericho would go down as one of the best Ring of Honor World Champions and having one of the best Ring of Honor World title reigns. Not in Ring of Honor. So it's something cool. It's just something cool that we're gonna be looking back on for years to come. Say, hey, that was a great run that Jericho had with the Ring of Honor World Title. When Jericho was all retired, it's like, wow, this guy was a champion in WWE and AEW and New Japan and Ring of Honor, Mexico, everywhere. So I'm very excited for this, and I am going with Claudio Castagnoli to be your new Ring of Honor World Champion. And I just think that this feud with the BCC and the JS will finally end. And there's no better way to do that than having Claudio go over. And we'll see what happens in the scrum after when Tony talks about the New Japan relationship and when he talks about the TV deal, because I think announced on this show we'll finally get the details of a TV deal. Or some sort of streaming deal with Ring of Honor. So look out for that. But there will be a post show. I don't know when this show's going to go off the air. I mean, the pre-show, the 0 hour starts at 3. The main show starts at 4. So with the match card, I think we'll probably end about maybe 7 o'clock. I'd say. So look out for a pre-show for a post show around that time. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in to the Ring of Honor Final Battle pre-show. I hope everybody who's watching the show enjoys it. I hope you all like the matches, and I hope your predictions come true. If you're doing any predictions games, I'm not, but we'll save that for the AEW pay-per-views. But I think I think it's gonna be a great show because a lot of these matches are hard to call and not very predictable. So that's always a good thing. And I'm very excited to see the future of Ring of Honor coming out of the show. So that's really it for me. Like, share, subscribe to All Things Sports Hit List on Facebook, on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. You could follow the Pro Wrestling Injection on Instagram. You could follow everybody who's on our shows regularly on Wednesdays and for pay-per-views. In terms of the Pro Wrestling Injection, you got Zach, you got Nick, you got Gary, you got Mike. So everybody, they're all of them. You can find out the other episodes in the Sports Hit List video section on Facebook. But I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in or watching on VOD. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the post show and enjoy Final Battle, everybody.